Hi, this is Pilleater. I'd like to discuss the failure of meritocracy and some of my strong criticisms around it. What's so bad about meritocracy? Supposedly, it is a political philosophy which holds that certain things, such as economic goods or power, should be vested in individuals on the basis of talent, effort, and achievement, or a government or the holding of power by people selected on the basis of their ability. It sounds like those who do good should be rewarded, like a game in itself. Shouldn't that be fair? Or does it actually become social Darwinism? Isn't nationalism or fascism supposed to be meritocratic? Or does it downplay individualism? I'd like to talk more about PragerU. It's in tradition of the John Birch's Society, but it's in 2009. It started as neoconservative talking points and then turned into alt-right influenced civic nationalism. Now is considered based or anti-liberal thought for normies. It features Jordan B. Peterson and Adam Carolla and other celebrities in 5-minute skits. While we live in a depraved and decadent society, the morally good are looking for masculine and virtuous wisdom from people against the current regime. However, PragerU offers new conservative points of boomer capitalism that hard-working individualism should pay off, leading to the game of meritocracy. Therefore, you can have the based Muslim working as an American and based Asian girl doing the same. It becomes a game of kissing ass to other exploiters of capitalism. And then it leaks down to the work of Aaron Clarey. Clarey is a humorist, a Paul Fusselite, and he's full of masculine wisdom of doing your own thing. Both his books smack hard on the elite establishment, but then doubling down that one should succeed by becoming a capitalist. As Clarey mentioned that Eminem and Machine Gun Kelly as white rappers succeed more than the average college student. But here the irony is MGTOW, or men going their own way. But Clarey looks at life as a number game of saving money and investing in it. Then how can someone earn and gain money if you're to spend money on your social status? That too is explained as a middle-class behavior, that spending money on sports cars and expensive houses is full of upper-middle-class foolery and not true money-making ideals and a waste of your time. So his nihilism is full of wisdom, but falls short that he himself is chaotic neutral, to use Dungeons & Dragons terms, telling everyone else they should play the meritocracy game, as long one lies and is Machiavellian about it. And so, wherever you want to see this comes from the whole PragerU do-it-yourself anti-liberalism, or again, all connected to meritocracy. And to use some of Clarey's wisdom, I will rephrase here, why do we even have job interviews? The point of the job interview is to lie and cheat to tell the boss, you can do the work by yourself without any help, which is also a lie. You need people to help you while you're learning how to work. People get jobs because they know one another. Everything is private. It isn't just a public game of individuals pursuing jobs. So in the 1950s, it was easier to get a job because the USA was 95% white, and the trust level was high. Everyone knew each other, and everyone lived in the suburbs of Oklahoma to Kansas, and jobs were much more easier to obtain, and anyone could make the lowest living to start a family. When everyone today is a snowflake individual, one's merit is based on a cookie-cutter mold of Chad for men and Stacy for women. Otherwise, that you have to be some kind of masculine cis man of the football player, or the feminine cis girl of the Stacy, or the slutty cheerleader. People get jobs because they know how to lie, whether if they are aware of their Machiavellian agenda or not. And just because of biological biases of thinking those individuals are somehow Chad or Stacy. But again, I reiterate here, the biggest dupes are the advocates of PragerU that want normative boomer meritocracy over socialism, which seems to be an invading force in America if it ever happens. So the state of the economy proves our doom. It's hard to get work because no one trusts one another. Alien groups of people against people who want to be Americans. or what liberals call whiteness. That if you play this game, everyone is against one another and they all want to sink the ship together. The people who are getting jobs are people of color, non-white males. This has to do with other successful liberal white men and Jews who elect individuals they consider as queer. They feel guilty of the classes below them. Ask, is it based upon merits that someone who is queer gets the job over you? Why would you ever think you can make an invincible migration, as said by Charles Murray in The Bell Curve? An invincible migration is when someone of a lower class becomes high class because they start doing upper middle class things, or they get money, or they just play the Machiavellian game. They become the NPR listening liberal. Or is that just upper middle class in behavior, and it's not actually upper class? But you show something of this middle class meritocracy boomer capitalist attitude. So at this point when I'm talking about queer culture and the class structure, why do I even bring up meritocracy? And this is wisdom here, because you shouldn't sweat that you need to be good to get a job or be good at it. Jobs require you to be an obedient robot and sacrifice something human about yourself. There is the private sector, and then there's real contributions to society. Think about where you're working at. Take these two examples. You may work as a cashier for 7-Eleven that only gives money to the owner. Is that a real contribution to society? Sounds like you're a slave and the owner is having fun, and you're only doing it to just get your $100 a day and be a further nihilist. You could be sitting at your ass playing Call of Duty and smoking weed, but you're doing this instead. Or you can drive a UPS truck and deliver packages to people. Now that sounds more of a contribution because people are ordering packages all the time and someone needs to move and deliver things. Just like fixing a bridge or letting the system flow. There's things that are considered contributions to society, and then there's methods of getting money that's based on meritocracy where you do absolutely nothing. You could care less. And it's more of the first one. But again, why should you take pride into something you know generates money and is a part of society that promotes selfish individualism? If everyone is a consumer under capitalism, the real crime is being the merchant exploiter. As you're continuing the meritocratic lie by telling people they can become good capitalists, just like a money game, then it's a forced game, really. Call it a left-wing anti-capitalist rant when I'm doing. And so it is. This is where I take some of their philosophy into this. So where do you stand in work? Do you take pride sitting on a desk 6 days a week and then LARPing as a grown adult? Is that meritocracy or form of nepotism? Think about it for a bit. The system is pro-Chad and anti-Melvin, yet charades that the Melvin is good. All the merchant exploiters are Chads, and the weak consumer class is Melvin. Capitalism is biased against weak people that are Melvins. The elite feel the shame and promote queerness in the arts to get back for this biological reality. It turns out that the elites become depraved, decadent, and queer in itself. To play the capitalist game in the arts, one must be queer. Ironically, the Chad caught onto this, and charades as a queer himself. For example, the success of Henry Rollins, David Bowie, or any weatherman who says he's gay, But no doubt about it, this SJWism is everywhere, and it's a form of queerness. And that weak people have to act Chad if they want to retain their retail life or their corporate cubicle office, like in the comic Dilbert. So you have to remember this and take this wisdom in. Meritocracy is a sham. Only nationalism and totalitarianism wants genetic, healthy, strong Chads rise to the top. Not by ability, but by innate biological realities. Anyone can learn anything. Anyone can teach. Why should one set of abilities be valued over another? I guess because of hotness is the consumer market? This is why the STEM hype is also a sham as well. If all these Bill Gates nerds, Melvins, become STEM and they think they're going to be the next millionaires, it's not true. It's the Chad that goes to the STEM gets success. And I'm pretty sure Chad never liked STEM to begin with. The artist has more abilities than what a sheeple, that's not a steeple, a sheeple can accomplish. Yet the artist is pushed to the side in Chad society because he's queer. All artists are queer, most of the time. Only the liberal world will accept queerness, but they too know the biological social Darwinian reality. They are doing their best to destroy everything cis. You could say there's such thing as the Chad queer, but this in itself is an offense to the progressive queer stack. Again, just to say, I believe Chad and Stacy's want to be feminists because they want to be, cool and get friends, and Chad say they are the school shooters, but that's just a lie to keep the Melvin down, and this is why there's the created incel class. But it all really has to do with this boomer capitalist ideal of meritocracy. You just have to remember something. The game is not fair. By being blind and playing fair, you will only get duped by those who cheat in the game. If you play a game of poker and you want everyone to believe in meritocracy, and those who don't believe it will just cheat. And that's Machiavellianism for you. Normies want to instill a mother computer onto society. They really want this game of egalitarianism and showing hard work and masculine values, overcome. And now I see this in the alt-right. It's pathetic, and it comes from this PragerU boomer capitalism. Those who have a higher social status than us cheated to get there, or were in the right place at the right time. It wasn't because they were just better than you or had better abilities. They just got there just because, out of random events. The popular artists and the capitalists may rule over us, but they didn't get there by believing in boomer meritocracy, right? Expect the future to be full of unqualified and lazy people in positions of power belittling those below them as unskillful plebes. And I'm making this little screencast there to expose them. It's why I strongly don't like meritocracy. It's because it's just a belief, a social belief to make people feel good about where they are. I don't give a shit if you're working in human resources or working for a state rep or sitting in an office for a university and getting a nice Bernie Sanders welfare check. The point is this belief that you're somehow inherently better than someone because of social laddering is just stupid. Again, this is not to shame elitism, but it's to assume that the belief that meritocracy is a failure and now is seen throughout these Chad working class bullshit groups, right? It's bullshit that skinheads believe in meritocracy and this stupid alt-right middle class. It just has to be thrown to the side. There is no traditionalist workers' party. Thanks for listening. www.pilleater.com